You alright, guys? Hope you're all doing okay. Hey, time for a cooking video, I reckon. So, I am making a lasagna. It's a beef lasagna. I'm going to do it in two parts with the ingredients because there's so many of them. So, we'll start off with the ragu. And I'm cooking it in my Fast Slow Pro. You can use a one pot, if you're American, I think it's called a one pot. Or even a slow cooker for a couple of 3 hours. Right, you've had a while to look at the ingredients for the ragu. As usual, I'll put it all in the description below, but here we are, starting top left, going clockwise. We've got red wine, garlic, plain flour, tomato puree, olive oil, red currant jelly, Worcestershire sauce, beef stock, and a Maggi cube to give it that bit of umami, celery stick, thyme, carrot, onion, and a couple of cans of chopped tomatoes. So here we go. Well, I'm not going to show you any of the prep for this one because you've all seen me chopping up veg before and chopping herbs, etc. So straight on with the cooking. So I've got my Fast Slow Pro set on the sear setting and a couple of globes of olive oil in there. And I've chopped the onion, garlic and celery. It's called a sofrito, so basically a sofrito. It's not an exact one because there's not the correct mix, but it's the basis for quite a lot of things actually. So in with those, and all we're going to do is sweat those down for about 5 minutes or so, just to get them a little bit translucent. And after 5 minutes, in with the mince of your choice. You can use anything you want, really. Don't forget to take the backing sheet off. We're not trying to cook the meat, really. We're just trying to brown it off. The slow cooking part will cook the meat properly. So get it all mixed up. Break up any big bits as best you can, but there's no point being too fussy because, like I say, we're going to slow cook it for a couple of hours. Well, that's basically the hard work done for the ragu. The rest of it now is just adding the bits and pieces. So in with some garlic, 2 cloves. I'm using lazy garlic this time because, well, basically I'm lazy. Give it a mix in between each one. A good dollop of tomato puree. Quickly followed by a couple of cans of chopped tomatoes. Then in with the stock of your choice. I'm using beef stock pot for this one. And then I'm going to crumble in a Maggi cube. If you've never used these, you want to try them. They add that little bit of umami, a little bit of monosodium glutamate. They got all sorts in there. Brings that extra flavour and everything. Nearly there for the ragu. A good dollop, maybe, I don't know, 2 teaspoons Worcestershire sauce. Just more of that. And a couple 100 ml of red wine. And a little bit more just in case. about a tablespoon of red currant jelly. If you haven't got red currant jelly, you can just use caster sugar. Just adds a bit of sweetness to the dish. In with the chopped thyme. And the final ingredient, a couple of tablespoons of plain flour. This just helps to thicken things up a little bit. Give it a good mix up, the final mix up. It's time to close the lid on it. I'm just swapping the Fast Slow Pro from sear to slow cooker. Set it on high mode and 3 hours. You can use a slow cooker for this, like I said. No difference whatsoever. And here we are, 3 hours later. Lovely. Just what he wanted. I'm going to set this aside now and get on with the rest of it. Yeah, like I said at the start, I'm going to do the ingredients in 2 parts. So we got here the bits and pieces for making the white cheesy sauce and for assembling the dish. So for the sauce, we've got butter, plain flour, semi-skimmed milk, Dijon mustard, Parmesan, and I'm going to use a sprinkling of the grated cheese as well. And to build the dish, we got the pasta sheets, more Parmesan, some grated mozzarella, and some grated Red Leicester and cheddar cheeses. Okay then, cheesy white sauce or white cheesy sauce. Get the butter melting. We do not want to let this boil or split. So melt it over a very gentle heat and keep stirring. So it's very, very close to splitting there. So in with the flour. Good stir up, making a roux. And when it's nicely combined, in with half of the milk and stir it in again. Doesn't take long. In with the rest of the milk. And that's your basic white sauce really. Now to make it a cheesy white sauce, in with loads of Parmesan, give it a good mix up, bit more, yeah. And a good dollop of Dijon mustard. And I'm just adding a bit of the topping mix, which is cheddar and Red Leicester. And as always, give it a good mixing. Just cook it for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Lets the sauce thicken up a bit. You can see the colour that the Red Leicester's brought to the mix. And here we go then, all done. Set this aside for building the dish. Okay then, we're there, assembling the lasagna. Now there are probably as many ways to assemble a lasagna as there are stars in the sky, you know what I mean? You could probably get a university grant for studying the different ways of doing this. And if you did the grant, you'd probably win the Turner Prize for assembling them all. Anyway, this is how I do it. I put the ragoo in the bottom, cut the lasagna sheets, and then the white cheesy sauce. And then some more lasagna sheets going the opposite direction. And the next layer of ragoo. And I just keep layering it all up. Bit of cheese now and again. Let's face it, at the end of the day it's a lasagna. Does it really matter? Still going to taste the same. And finish off with a layer of the cheesy white sauce and scatter the cheese on top. On with the grated mozzarella. Loads of mozzarella, I like it nice and stringy. And a final sprinkling of the Parmesan. I've given the topping a good grating of black pepper and leave it to one side for a couple of hours just to let the pasta sheets soak up some of the juices. And then into an oven, 170, 180, 45 minutes. Well, that is one mean looking lasagna. Whew. Right then, do I leave it for a bit or not? Let's get in there. Oh yes. This is going to be piping hot, guys, but I'm going to try it anyway. Hot. That is fan-bloody-tastic. Oh. Oh yeah. Well, that's tonight's tea sorted out, that's for sure. Oh. Just like a mum I used to make.